Mr. John Saville.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker, and what a fantastic way to be serenaded and introduced here to this great House. As you kindly mentioned, I'm honoured to serve as the British Consul General in Chicago, where I'm responsible for leading the UK government's work promoting the UK's political, reputational, economic, trade and investment interests across 14 states at the heart of this great country, including this great state of Missouri. This part of the world, I need hardly say, is a huge priority for the UK. The US is the UK's greatest ally, our largest trading partner, and our biggest export market. It's a relationship I'm eager to help grow in scale and scope. As a career diplomat and two-time former ambassador, I've been proud to work alongside US colleagues across the world on our shared interests and values. So I'm delighted now to be directly working to deepen the long-standing ties between our two countries, and doubly honoured to be addressing you, accompanied by our Honorary Consul, Mark Sutherland, who many of you know, and my wife, Fabiola. I'm already clear that this will be the first of many trips to Missouri, building on the rich existing ties between this state and the UK. Today, I've heard that Representative Derek Greer and Senator Dave Schatz are working to establish an official state tartan to honour the many Missourians of Scottish and Irish descent. As the son of a Donegal woman of Scottish extraction, I wish them the very best of luck in this endeavour. I'm also clear that Missouri has a real claim to be considered the birthplace of the special relationship between the US and the UK. Later today, I'll be following in the footsteps of Winston Churchill when he visited Westminster College at the invitation of President and Missourian Harry Truman over 70 years ago to deliver his Sinews of Peace, or Iron Curtain speech. So it was here in Missouri, in the same stroke of oratory genius for which he's well remembered, that Churchill coined both the phrases Iron Curtain and special relationship. Each has had a profound impact on how we view the world, and each has had particular resonance for me personally in my career. And the special relationship has, of course, become ever deeper and more resilient and brought security and prosperity to our two nations. Our defence partnership is where that special relationship first took place. From World War I, commemorated in that beautiful painting above us, to today's fight against ISIL, the US and UK partnership has been a bastion of democracy and global security across the decades. We fought side by side in World War I, both making incredible sacrifices to protect our freedom. And permit me now to salute the over 150,000 Missourians who served in the Great War, the end of which conflict we will commemorate this November. Later in the 20th century, this relationship was instrumental in defeating fascism and pulling back the Iron Curtain. My wife and I were in Warsaw when the wall came down, and the dead hand of Soviet-backed communism was replaced by a democratic, solidarity-led government. I shared the sense of the then US ambassador, who was rumoured to have written to Washington, "I have achieved my mission, what shall I do now?" And since then, we have stood and fought shoulder to shoulder repeatedly, most notably after 9/11, when so many Brits as well as Americans died. Today, we do more together than any two countries in the world. Our mutually supportive cooperation enables us to operate together and in wider alliances around the world in the interests of global security. Hundreds of UK personnel are stationed in the US across 34 of the 50 states and including right here in Missouri. And this cooperation is not just instrumental for the security of our two nations, but also to fortifying international order and the rule of law. As close allies in NATO, permanent members of the UN Security Council, and leading nuclear powers, our partnership is vital to international peace and security. Most recently, the strength of that relationship can be seen in our joint response to the illegal and reckless attack in Salisbury. 1 month ago in the UK, we witnessed the first offensive use of a nerve agent in Europe since the Second World War. Given the target and the agent used, the only conclusion we could reach was that the Russian state was culpable. And this attempted murder on British soil followed Russia's illegal annexation of Crimea and its destabilizing actions in Donbass, all actions in clear violation of international norms and obligations. The UK and our partners around the world have therefore expelled dozens of Russian diplomats in response to the attack, and we were most grateful for the robust support of the administration in expelling 60 Russian diplomats from the US. But of course, our relationship is not just about security and defense. Much of what we do together, especially in the Midwest, is based on a common interest in growing our prosperity. And that economic relationship is all the more important to us in the UK as we look to a bright future with new possibilities outside of the European Union. As you may know, in March 2017, we began a 2-year negotiation process of withdrawal from the European Union. And at the end of last year, we reached an agreement on 3 areas as part of the first phase of negotiations. A fair deal on citizens' rights that allows for UK and EU citizens to get on with their daily lives, a financial settlement, and a solution for Northern Ireland that preserves the Belfast Agreement and sees no hard border. Last month, an implementation period was agreed that allows EU rules, regulations, and budgetary and enforcement mechanisms to continue to apply until December 2020. That will give businesses and investors the stability and certainty they need and allow a period of economic partnership that delivers the maximum possible benefits for both our economies. But in addition to reforming our relationship with the European Union, our exit offers an unprecedented opportunity to reshape our independent trading ambitions. And it gives us the opportunity for the first time in nearly half a century to strike our own free trade deals with friends and partners around the world. Chief among them, of course, is the US, where we want to build on already very strong trading relationships, including through a possible future free trade agreement. We've already formed a trade working group, and joint discussions to prepare the ground are progressing really well. Tariffs between us, of course, are already low, but for me the real prize is in harmonization of regulations and standards. And if we can move closer together on those issues, we'll reduce the barriers to doing trade and will increase business opportunities for both US and UK companies in each other's economy. On the national scale, 1 million people already go to work every day in the UK for American companies, and 1 million people in America work for British companies. Those 1 million jobs supported by British companies here in the US is more than any other country. Many great Missourian companies are also finding success in the UK and employ thousands of people there, including such companies as Monsanto, Emerson Electric, and Enterprise Rent-A-Car. And there are over 150 British companies with operations in Missouri, including GKN Aerospace, BAE Systems, and Aon, which employ over 23,000 people directly in this state. The UK is also the 4th largest export market for your companies here. Missouri goods and services exports to the UK are worth well over $1 billion annually and support over 8,000 jobs here. So our economic relationship is central to our shared prosperity, and my team and I are working hard every day to deepen that relationship even further. This week, we're celebrating a practical result from the pop-up consulate we hosted in Kansas City, Missouri, which is the establishment of UK's company's headquarters here in Missouri. And 2 weeks ago, we took a representative from Kansas City to the UK on a smart cities mission to deepen links further. So although the reputation is already solid, I and my team are working to make sure an even closer and more productive relationship between our two countries results in not only that rich history, but also a common vision for the future. So I hope some of the things I'm sharing today show you that the special relationship isn't just an antiquated turn of phrase or mere frothy eloquence, as a famous Missourian, I think, once said. And it's fitting for me that the special relationship was born here in the Show Me state, as a special relationship continues to be a real, meaningful force for good for our businesses and for the people who call Missouri and the United Kingdom home. I look forward to working with all of you to continue to show you just how special that relationship can be. Thank you very much for your attention.